Hello humans, my name is Balta and I'm the dwarf and this is our new format, the Tavern! It is a talking podcasting format in which I can talk about video games and stuff happening in my gaming life without trapping over my own words. Which will of course be happening, but to a lesser degree, because I don't have to concentrate on playing a game while I do it. I can just sit here and talk and say what comes to my mind, and hopefully this format will work out. So far it hasn't. This is my third attempt of recording this, because a Windows Movie Maker is really shit when it comes to recording narrations. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. I'm recording with OBS now and it's much better in the end. Yeah. So there's that. So, in the tavern I'm trying to talk about video games, and today I want to talk about Exanima. And before I start talking about Exanima, you have to know that this channel is based on three concepts. The first concept is that me and Ymir, the elf, which is the missing part of this whole gaming channel, so if you are sitting here now and have subscribed to me for a while, you will say, oh, who is Ymir? Well, Ymir is the guy I started the channel with. He's a really cool Dutch dude, and he also disappeared in the woods to concentrate on writing his exams and learning for them, and yeah, I hope he will join up eventually, because it's one of the concepts of our channel. It's the bantering between the two of us. So we really like each other and we like to give each other shit. And that's why we thought the whole thing with elves and dwarfs is quite fitting, because they don't really like each other, but in the end they fight together against evil. Oh good. Depending on the circumstances. No, like, we found that it's pretty fitting. And yeah, I hope we can do that in the future. So the second part is, as you might are able to hear, the whole idea that there's a course I laid for myself, and in which I want to be able to talk in a fluent way. Because the way it is right now, I can say like 20 words and then I have to buffer to think about the next thing I'm going to say, which is of course partly because of the way YouTube works, and that I'm playing a game and I'm talking with the game, and just imagine you talking while you're doing something else and how your sentences would sound like, and now imagine that doing it in a foreign language. And yeah, that's where the problems are starting, but it's of course not the only problem. I know words and I can know how to say them. Sometimes I mess up completely, especially in the grammar department, as you are well aware if you have subscribed to the channel. As well, the whole idea is that subconsciously, so to speak, I want to be able to come up with words and sentences that are making sense when I'm doing something else, as it should be when you are living with a language. Yeah, and of course the third part of the channel, which brings us here to Exanima. So, as you can see in the list of games that are featured on the channel so far, I am a big fan of games that are unique or really unusual and that have their own concept. Some of these concepts aren't well rounded up, some are buggy, and well, some aren't really finished. But you have to give them that each of them have their own ideas and concepts, and someone really put much time and effort and work into them to make them kind of work. It was a double work in one sentence, but I don't care. Like Dark Messiah is a good example. Like Dark Messiah is a really cool game, and it has really interesting features like being able to freeze the ground and the enemy sliding directly into a spike and as impaled on it. And you can just play around with it, but it has huge issues when it comes to stability and balancing, I guess. Because if you are a warrior, you will just at some point you will just go through the game. Like you are doing the normal swing and you can decapitate almost every enemy that is standing in your way. While it's harder to play as a rogue or a wizard. But it's a good game and it has its own concept, and that's what I really enjoy in games. And they're trying something new and they're trying to be unique and not just copy pasting from everywhere and hope that no one notices. Call of Duty, Battlefield. No, really, like Call of Duty and Battlefield were really unique games, and then they decided to do the same thing and again and copy from each other, but not in a good way. No, it's just messed up kind of grey goo with no real features other than we want to get children to players by putting in brutal stuff that makes no sense. Oh well, let's stop talking about these games. They are getting talked about way too much. And let's concentrate on Exanima. That is the game that is running in the background. So, Exanima is a prequel to Sui Generis, which is a project featured on Kickstarter by a little developer called Bare Metal. They've reached their goal and they now made Exanima. Exanima has the basic concept of Sui Generis, and it features a combat system. It's not finished yet, don't get me wrong here. Always keep in mind I'm talking about a non-finished project and a non-finished demo version of the unfinished project, so to speak. But well, it features the combat and it gives you a first impression on how it will look. And it gives the developer a way of presenting the game to you in a way where you can critique it and give them feedback. And so they can determine in what people are interested and what they should develop more and extend and what they really don't need to look into. It features an arena style of combat where you can equip your character and just go in and kill and slash and slay. And it also features the single player part of things. And I really enjoy the single player. So far the single player is not randomly generated. And I think that's really a good thing. Like many people in forums are like, oh yeah, randomly generate everything and logical and try to do it in a logic way and try to also include story while you're doing it. And I don't think that's a good concept. I like that it's a fixed map you can go through, because in a fixed map you can do much better when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to ramping of the difficulty and hiding stuff. There are weapons placed in some areas that you will always be able to find, like the two-hander. And there are also items that are hidden in chests. And those chests are really interesting because they aren't like in Skyrim or in Morrowind, where you can open a burial chest or a burial vase and then there's a two-hander in there. You kill a dragon and all he has on him are 2 gold pieces, which always made me sad, because too much random generation will lead to problems. It's easy as that. And it's much better for storytelling if you are going for a fixed kind of state. And yeah, as an example, there's a room, you go in, there's a dead zombie and a dead guy lying in there. And if you look closely through the room, you can find a key hidden under a table. And if you open the room attached to the key sounds wrong. if you use the key on a room that is next to it, you can open the room and there's a woman inside it, and it looks like she died of hunger. So you kind of can put together in your mind what happened here, and you couldn't do that if everything would be random. And yeah, and I really like that. The whole story on itself is told really, really well. Like everything, I don't want to spoil. So if you want spoilers, well, you can watch my Twitch stream, I guess, because I don't want to upload a single player onto YouTube just yet, because I want everyone to experience it themselves. Because when you go in, you have no idea where you are, what you are. You just wake up, there's a burning torch next to you, you have a parchment that is saying, hey, try to find out stuff. There's zombies everywhere. You don't know, what are these zombies? Are these like the Walking Dead zombies, like the virus infected kind of thing? Or are those reanimated corpses by a necromancer? Or are they cursed undead from the demon of Overhell? Or something like that? Or are these just zombies? The hell is full, that's why the dead are now walk among the living. You don't know. And you want to try to find out, and you will find out, and it will be an interesting journey. Yeah, it will be an interesting journey. Sorry, I'm watching the gameplay. I did the whole gameplay thing in the background to be able to not to concentrate on stuff while I'm talking. I'm doing it anyway, so I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be doing it. So, which brings me to the next point. Not willing to do it. No. It really brings me there. That doesn't bring me there. The next point is the fighting system. So the fighting system is uncomparable to anything you have seen so far. The only thing that pops in my mind are Chivalry and Mount and Blade, and that it's very physics driven. Like it's not like, oh yeah, now I'm swinging my sword and I will do 20 damage and this will reduce by your dexterity skill and your armor skill, and yeah, that kind of thing isn't happening. You are swinging your swords, you are doing a sidestep while doing it, you are crouching to try to hit the leg, the exposed part of the leg even, and the damage that is done is calculated by the force that is applied to the enemy and the way his armor is built. And it's not just numbers popping up after you click an enemy and then you watch the fight happening. No, you have to think about it, and that is what it's making it great. Okay, and one other game pops up in my mind, that is Dark Souls, of course. In Dark Souls you have this move set, and some weapons are really efficient and are really good, but they aren't doing much damage, and some of them aren't even fast or anything, but the move pattern is just in a way where it's really fitting, and it's the same thing with Exanima and sui generis later, I guess. In that you can use the two-hander even though it's really slow. It's not really slow, but it's harder to handle than, let's say, normal sword, but you can use it if you think about doing your footwork and when to block and when to duck under an enemy swing or dodging, and that makes the game great. It's not just clicking on enemies and waiting for stuff to happen. You have to think on what you are doing. There's a problem that sometimes your character or the enemy are moving weirdly around. A friend of mine called it dancing with clowns. I don't think that this is really the case. If you watch on YouTube, like you can do it right now, search for medieval close combat, and you can find videos of hobby enthusiasts. I wanted to say hobby enthusiasts, and it's not making much sense. Just medieval enthusiasts in full armor fighting each other, and you can see how they are moving. And after a while they're so exhausted, it looks exactly like an Exanima. They're just stepping around, stumbling around, trying to get into a better position. And that's why I like Exanima in that respect, because it's looking exactly like that. It's looking like two warriors that have been fighting all day long, and the heavy armor swinging around 20 kilogram of steel, and now they just want to finish the enemy. The feeling in general is pretty gothic, not like in gothic people dressed in black listening to weird techno. I also enjoy walking, roaming the streets, but more like the gothic games, the gothic style that only so far Diablo provided in RPGs. Not only Diablo, but that's a thing that comes to my mind. First, Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 had their own style. Diablo 3 is just standard Blizzard stuff. But yes, just this kind of gritty feeling. Everything is dark and worn off, and it makes a good impression, and the game feels much more threatening because of that. Talking about threatening, the blood and gore aspects are pretty well done. There are no decals yet on bodies, but there are decals on the weapons, and which when you hit the enemy on the exposed part, the blood will just gush out of him and clot on your weapon, and it's looking awesome. Sorry, I'm sounding really psychopathic, but I do like the way they did it. Like, you are swinging a Morningstar, and 90% of this game is sound-based right now when it comes to gore. Like, you're swinging your Morningstar and you hit an enemy on the head, and you will hear the cracking noise of skull. The enemy is just falling over like a puppet. You cut its strings from, and that one feels great. But also, if you hit the plate armor, you will hear the catch of the plate armor, and your swing is just inefficient and rejected. But when you hit the ching mail, you will hear this ching 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 noise when you hit it, and also blood will come out because you were able to penetrate it, and that one feels great. And if they include decapitations, that kind of stuff, dismemberment, just showing where you hit him with scars, also maybe scars on your character, that will make it perfect. And I hope that will happen at some point. And well, this brings me to stuff I want to see, and what I like to see is a bigger enemy variety, because so far in the 3 maps, 2 of the maps are just zombies, and I like the zombies they did there, because they are moving kind of slow and fighting in a stupid fashion. But well, yeah, there's a problem. They're fighting in a stupid fashion. They do 2 the in-swing and the out-swing, and maybe sometimes an overhead. So you wait for them to swing, move in, hit them, move out again, wait for them to swing, move in, move out again. And that's not fun. They really have to think about another way of presenting the fighting aspect of the game. When it comes to zombies, maybe make some zombies smarter, like the humans in the arena. Like, you can make some of them look very old, and because of that they are of course moving slower and are like stupider, and the fresh zombies could be a bit smarter when it comes to fighting, and makes them block a bit. That will help pretty much, because when you're doing the whole thing over and over again, because you can't do anything else. It's not like you could try to feint your swings and try to outsmart them like an arena, because it's not working on them. And the arena II is one of the best things I ever encountered when it comes to medieval combat style, and even more in physics style, because again, Mount and Blade and Chivalry aren't a good comparison, but those are really brain-dead AI, and in Exanima you have the feeling that they give much thought to the characters you're fighting against, and which gives them a unique feeling, and the zombies just aren't unique. There is another kind of enemy that is popping up in the third map. I don't want to spoil it, and but there are just a few of them. They are fun to fight, but I would like to have at least one of them or two of them in the earlier maps, like as kind of the end boss of the map or some stuff like this, just to shake up things. Oh, by the way, I didn't talk about the characters. The character detail, sorry, this was German. This character detail is pretty impressive. The characters are looking really well made and really realistic. You can do different body types, you can change the physique around, and you can say how old he is or how high and how low, and that will all of that will impact the way you can play them. Like if you are playing a rather small character, he's of course more ground based. He can recover faster from swings, because just imagine you are being a 2 meter big guy, all your body weight is on your upper regions because you're so muscular, and now you have a hammer, and when you swing this hammer around, it will of course turn your whole body and all the weight with it. So it takes you longer to get out of the swing after you've done it. Not really long, but longer than a smaller guy. But of course the smaller guy can't put so much weight behind the swing, so he won't be able to do that much damage and push through blocks, as an example, like a big guy could do. And all of that you have to take in account when you're creating a character. I found my kind of character because I like to handle two-handers. As you can see in the gameplay in the background. And yeah, all of that is counting in, and if you encounter an enemy, that's what you have to think about. Like, is he a big guy? Or will he have more range than me with my short little hands? Or am I bigger than him? So maybe I can push him around. Maybe I can just run into him and he will trip over when he tries to swing backwards, and all his weight is on his back anyway. You can do that. So yeah, that's why I don't like the zombies so much as an enemy, and I hope they will add more enemy variety. It's not like I'm hoping, I guess they will. Another thing that bugs me a bit is that you have just a small selection of weapons in an arena. I would really like to see all of the weapons you can play in a single player, also that you can also use it in an arena, just to test it out, to see how it works against the real AI. I would like to see the two-hander you find. Again, spoiler territory, and I don't want to get into it that much, but you will be able to find a cool two-hander in a single player. Yes, it's not a really big spoiler. And I wanted to try it in the arena, so I really would like to do that. So if you could please put that in, that would be nice. What I also would like to see are traps, like death traps, like opening a door and there's a rope attached to the door which will fire a crossbow directly in your face, so if you don't close the door again immediately, the crossbow will hit you in the chest. And because the whole game is so physics based, they could do it. Like they could do the swinging weight thing when you trip over a rope, or yeah, that kind of stuff. They would be able to do it because the physics would let them do it. So I would like to see traps. That's just a thing. I also would like to see our hidden compartments, and with some hints in the world, like you find a corpse and he's like, oh no, they're coming, but I hid all of my valuables in the secret storage room, and you know what to push if you want to go in. And so you are basically on a quest on yourself to find this hidden compartment by trying to push and pull everything. And I guess that would be nice if that was an option. So let's see on my list what I haven't talked about yet. I guess I have talked about everything. So one thing I haven't talked about, and that is the price of the game so far. So on Steam it costs €50, and I do have to tell you that it's worth it. Like for the arena alone, it's worth it. It's so much fun. I put 70 hours in it. Yes, you heard right, 70 hours of game just because I was testing out stuff. Every time I'm on Skype with someone on call, I'm watching a movie and I get bored, I just start Exanima and start playing around, trying to find new ways to get behind the enemy. And it's just worth the 50 euro, and compared to other games on Steam, even this unfinished piece is just 1,000 times better than some of the release projects you can get for the same price. So yeah, I hope my sentences made sense. Keep in mind, this is the first time I've been talking for so long without pause or doing anything else, and I hope I can improve the quality, and maybe next time I won't be alone and Ema will join, and that makes talking a lot easier because you don't have to think about your next sentence that much. And if you like the video in the background, just check out my channel because I made much more videos about it. Also, I am doing the game on Twitch live stream in single player, and also in arena where people are giving me objectives, so to speak. Like they say, do a really short, fat character that is also naked and wields a double-handed axe, and see how far you can go. So check that out. Subscribe if you like my content, and yeah, I hope we see each other. And please, and I have to press this issue. Check out the game on Steam. Like, even if you aren't interested by what you heard so far, just check it out on Steam. See their videos they made, and well, Bare Metal, you are on a good way, and you have a clear vision of what you are trying to achieve here, and you are following it, and I am happy that you do, and I wish you the best of luck. And I really should end the video here because I'm saying really often. Okay, my name was Bauta, I'm the Dwarfish part of Dwarf-Elvish Diplomacy, and I see you guys in the next video.